just as we were connecting here, I was just giving you kind of a little introduction, but for recording, let me kind of start over. Many years ago, Ken Hankins was up in Montana and actually just going around cold calling, and he called on a chiropractor's office, Greg Nelson, who was very receptive to Nikken. And if you're aware, Dr. Palmer, who is the father of chiropractic, actually did some extensive work with magnets. And so Gary, Greg was very receptive. Greg built an empire, and what's really fun is the Nelson family is just a whole nest of chiropractors. We've got Brad, Greg, and Bruce. And I think one of the things that I've seen about all three of these good brothers is they really have kind of gravitated to kind of doing some of their own ideas as far as energy work. I think it's just kind of a real intuitive, maybe even a spiritual gift. Brad is, if you know Brad and look at some of the magazines, if you've been to conventions, Brad has distinguished himself as just a huge retailer of the product, because in the modality he's developed, you use Nikken magnets, but he's written a book. He's helped a lot of people, and this is just an idea to give you the scope and width of the power of what the body and the soul can do, and what Nikken can do, and some of the discoveries that Brad's made. So maybe just Brad, tell us a little bit about your journey and maybe a couple of experiences that you've had, and the book, The Emotion Code, a little bit. Brad, take it away.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Dave. Thanks so much for having me on the call, and hi, everybody. It's really great to be connecting with you today. I first heard about Nikken when I was it was in about 1995, I think. My brother Greg called me, and he was all excited about magnets, and I thought it was kind of strange, and he was telling me all these amazing things and these amazing things that were happening, and people were getting help and so on. And I was really skeptical. And I said, is this by any chance network marketing? And he said, well, yeah. And I said, oh, okay, then I'm not really interested. So then what happened was, for about the next 4 months, he was using up all my fax paper. He was faxing me all the time, faxing these amazing stories that were happening with the magnets. And I get them, and I just kind of file them away. I had a special place I'd put them. And I saved them all. It was like a ream of paper by the time I got done. Finally, after about 4 months, and he would call me all the time. He was so excited, really trying to get me involved. And anybody else, I would have just told him, where to go. But he was my brother, so I couldn't really get rid of him. He kept calling me. And
the brother principle.
The brother principle, yeah. And he... But I'm so glad that he did. I'm so glad he was so persistent, because it's changed my whole life and the lives of many others now. And what happened was, actually, to tell you the truth, he would call, and I could tell when the phone would ring. I could tell if it was him. I don't know how, but I just knew it was him. The tone of the ring would be more shrill or something. And I would tell. I remember actually stepping out into the hallway in my practice so that my staff could say, "Oh, I'm sorry, he stepped out. He's not here." So I wouldn't have to talk to him. And finally, after about 4 months, he signed me up, and I remember I was so mad, because I thought, I'm not interested in this. It's another MLM thing. And now he signed me up in this, and I don't even want to be in it. Now I owe him money. I was really mad. But at that point, I thought, okay, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to buy a magnet, and I'm going to try it out. It won't work. And then otherwise, there's just no way I'm going to get rid of this guy, my own brother. So I bought a Mag Boy. And I remember... walking down the hallway in my office. I was practicing down in Laguna Niguel, California. I was walking down the hallway in my office, unwrapping this Mag Boy and looking at this thing, and I was thinking, okay, I must be such an idiot. What did I pay for this, And I walked into my treatment room, and there was a woman that was in there waiting for me to come in and work on her. And when I walked in the door and I saw her, I thought, okay, this is a perfect opportunity to try this thing and prove that it doesn't work, and I can just get out of this whole magnet deal. And what was going on with her is that she had fibromyalgia. Now, fibromyalgia is this condition a lot of you know about, but for those of you that don't, it's a very painful condition where you have pain in the muscle all over the body, and it's still medically there's no known cure, et cetera, which is just silly. I ended up spending the last 10 years of my practice specializing in people who had fibromyalgia and getting them well naturally. But anyway, so here's this woman, and she's got terrible fibromyalgia, mainly in the upper body. So her arms, just terrible pain in her arms and shoulders, and she can't raise her arms very much. She has very limited motion in her arms. And so I thought, okay, this is perfect. I had just worked on her a few days before. I knew exactly. I'd been working with her for a while and hadn't been able to make much progress so far. So I thought, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity. She was lying face down, and I rolled the magnet on one arm, okay, between her shoulder and her elbow. And I looked at my watch and thought, okay, I'm just going to roll this magnet back and forth on her arm. We'll give it 5 minutes. If I don't do it for at least 5 minutes, he'll make me do it again on somebody else. So I rolled it for 5 minutes between her shoulder and her elbow, and I told her what I was doing, just rolling this magnet and just making small talk with her. And then after 5 minutes was up, I said, okay, why don't you go ahead and sit up? She sat up, and I said, okay. I was rolling her left arm, and both of her arms, very limited motion. I said, okay, let's try the motion in your right arm. She lifts her elbow up, and it gets to not quite horizontal, and that's about it, and she's really in pain, wincing with pain. I said, okay, let's try the other side. And she lifts her arm up, and suddenly she's got full range of motion in her arm. I mean, complete range of motion. I tested it in all the different ranges, and I was just dumbfounded. And she was amazed. We both just kind of sat there looking at each other. We looked like a couple of owls, probably, with these huge eyes. And she said, my arm doesn't hurt anymore. She said, what is that thing? And I said, well, yeah, it's this magnet I got from my brother. She said, can I buy it? And I said, well, I don't know, I guess so. So she bought it. I had it for a total of about 15 minutes. Then I had to buy another one. And I didn't see her again for 6 months. About 6 months later, she came back in and said, hey, how are you? She says, I'm doing a lot better. Whenever I have any pain, I just use the magnet. I call it my pain eraser. And I ended up calling the Mag Boy that same thing. I called it my pain eraser. I found that in practice, if somebody had pain, if I couldn't get them out of pain with what I was doing, I could use the Mag Boy on them, and it would relieve their discomfort in short order. And I'll tell you something. I had a physical therapy suite in my office. I had all kinds of equipment, probably $40,000 or so worth of equipment. I had special tables that would roll the spine. I had 2 different kinds of ultrasound therapy. I had Russian stimulation. I had diathermy and all kinds of stuff that doctors, use to try to help people get well. And after using these Nikken magnets for a month or so, I realized that these had more healing power, and I could get more results with them faster than all of this equipment that I had in that therapy suite of mine. And so I called up my equipment vendor one day, and I said, look, I want you to come and clean out this room of mine, take all this stuff away, put it all on consignment. I don't care what you get for it. Just get rid of it for me. And I opened that room up, and then I did lectures in that room. And instead of putting people in that room and putting them on different therapies, what I would do is I would just have them take home a Mag Boy or have them put a flex pad on their back. I saw some of the most amazing things during those years that I was in practice. I remember once a little lady came in to me who was at the top of a tall ladder changing a light bulb in her house, and she fell off the ladder, and she had this huge bruise. She landed right on her thigh. She had the biggest bruise I've ever seen in my life. She had her whole, it was her right leg, the whole side of her thigh from the hip all the way down to the knee was completely just black. And she said, what am I going to do? This is going to be green eventually and then yellow, and it's just going to be so ugly for so long. I had a flex pad, the one for the low back, and it was the biggest magnet that I had from Nikken. I said, well, let's put this on there. And it didn't cover the bruise, but it was the biggest magnet that I had. And so I said, look, put your pantyhose on, leave them on over this. Let's leave this thing in place all night, and then come in first thing in the morning, and we'll work on you again. So she did, and she came in, and first thing the next morning, she says, Dr. Nelson, you've got to look at this. And where she had that magnet, that flex pad, in that kind of unusual trapezoidal shape, underneath where that magnet had been was completely perfect, pink, normal skin. And around it, and I wish I would have had a camera. They didn't have cell phones back then with cameras, but all around it was still this black bruise. And that was such an amazing example to me. And I mean, I could go on and on with all the stories of all the amazing things. But I'll tell you what happened. My specialty really has always been in energy medicine, and energy medicine is really nothing more than just working on the body for what it really is. The human body is an energy field, if you get right down to it. Quantum physicists like Einstein and other people have been telling us that for over 100 years. The human body is just an energy field. I mean, if you look at your hand, it looks solid and so on, but if you magnify it 1,000,000 times, you're looking face-to-face with a single individual atom. If you look inside that atom, you see that there's nothing in there. It's just empty space, and then these little infinitesimally tiny energies that are zipping around at the speed of light. That's what we are. We're beings of pure energy. And that's why the magnets work, is because they work on us on the energetic level. Well, in my practice, one of the things that I did is I worked on people to balance the organs and the glands of the body. And so I found that by balancing those organs and glands were connected to the muscles of the body. And so when people would come into me with pain, I would find that they had imbalances in certain organs and glands, and that in turn was imbalancing certain muscles. And so I'll tell you what happened. One night I was doing a little Nikken presentation in my office, and people were asking me what I did, and so I showed them how I could, using muscle testing, okay, I could test the organs and glands and find out how balanced or imbalanced they were. And people wanted to know more. So I had a man come up out of the audience, and I tested him, did some testing, found that his liver was imbalanced. And basically, it's kind of a simple process that you just touch points on the body, and then you push down on the arm, and if the arm goes weak, you know that little organ's got some kind of an imbalance. Well, this guy had an imbalance in his liver. And in explaining this to the audience, I said, now, this is an energetic imbalance going on in his liver. What that will do, the liver connects up with this muscle right in between the shoulder blades. So he probably has discomfort in between his shoulder blades. And I looked at him, and he said, yeah, absolutely. He said, it's been bothering me there for about a year. And I said, okay, well, no problem. We'll fix this later. When the meeting is over, I'll fix it for you. So during the course of the meeting, we were doing rollouts. And a rollout, of course, is where you roll a magnet on somebody that's lying on the floor typically on a magnetic mattress bed. And that's what we were doing. And when the meeting was over, everybody left, and then he was still there. And I said, okay, let's just check your liver. And I tested it, and it was strong. And I thought, wait a minute, how did that happen? I tested it, it was strong. And that got me really excited. And what I realized was that when you get a rollout, it actually has this effect of giving energy to the organs and the glands and balancing a lot of the time the organs and glands that are imbalanced. Now, I've been balancing organs and glands for a number of years, right? But I'd never seen anything like this. And so I started doing a class that I called The True Meaning of the Rollout, okay? And I get big groups to come. But I was learning how these magnets can be used to help to balance the body. And it's changing people's lives literally all over the world. We're taking this message to the whole world. And if it wasn't for Nikken, I think it may not have happened at all. But with the Nikken products, it gave us it was something that came along in my life at a perfect time, and it enabled me to create this simple method that anyone can use to release these trapped emotions. So that's kind of my story, really, in a nutshell. The exciting thing to me is that my mission, I believe, in this world is to bring to the world these extremely simple healing methods. Because I believe that healing is a birthright that belongs to every single person on this planet. And the magnets make that so simple. Now, of course, the magnets work for the things that I initially was talking about, the things I was seeing in my practice, just using the magnets, just rolling those magnets on somebody can help them to feel better. I think it's just been really just the most amazing thing, and I'm so grateful to Mr. Masuda, who founded it, and people like Dave and like my brother Greg. I'm so grateful, that he was able to find out about this, and then that he didn't give up on me. Boy, that was a tough one, but it worked. So never give up.
Well, your patient with fibromyalgia that you mentioned right at the beginning, that's a really neat story, and it works.
It does.
Oh, Brad, you're awesome. I'm really glad you got in, and thanks for the difference you're making out there in the world. And this is really good stuff. And
thank you, Dave.
Fits right into the 5 pillars of health, doesn't it?
Boy, it really does. Absolutely.
Well, all of us, let's go share, and that's what life is all about, is to go about doing good, and it's so fun to just to be anxiously engaged in this great cause, and let's do. We do have the power to change the world, so let's go make a difference and make everybody better.